Hi, everybody. I'm JJ. You're watching Reality Survival. And today we're going to talk about something that I've been trying to come up with a word or a phrase to describe. And I think that I finally figured it out. And that is singularity syndrome. So that's what we're gonna discuss today. What is it? And how do you deal with it? Maybe, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of notes on this. I just want to discuss it, and then we'll take some questions from the chat. Maybe see what folks are saying or whatever. But while we're letting a few folks roll in, it looks like we got a few already. Jeremy, Scott, Mr. Landfill, Mike, what's going on? Thank you, Mr. Landfill, on the 5x5. Appreciate it. So while we're letting some folks roll in here. A lot of you guys have been taking advantage of the EMP shields lately. And I want to thank you for that. I'm an affiliate with them. And so when you buy one, it gives me a few bucks from them too. And I think that's really great. If you are somebody who is concerned about the possibility of an EMP happening or nuclear detonation going off here in the United States, and you want to do something to get ready, couple things. I've got a video that's coming out here pretty quick. It's called the top 15 things to do to be ready for nuclear war. And another thing that you can do, that's real easy that I think makes a lot of sense is make sure that your vehicle has an EMP shield on it, so that if you're at work when something happens and some detonation happens, while you're at work or whatever, then your vehicle will be able to run when provided that if it was a nuclear bomb detonation and you survived the blast, then your vehicle would still work. Or if it was a high altitude nuclear blast, then you'd just be able to get home. Now you're going to have lots of challenges getting through traffic and finding a back way and keeping people from trying to take your vehicle and all that kind of stuff. I hate saying it'll be without its challenges, but to me, I'm just a dumb country boy. But especially if you live 30-40 miles from your house, like a lot of people do, walking is going to take a lot longer and be way more dangerous than trying to drive. That's just my logic. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, if you agree with me, then you can head over to empshield.com, use the discount code Reality Survival, and that'll save you $50 per unit. Super easy to install in your vehicle. Really, pretty much anybody can do it. You basically hook one wire to the positive terminal, one wire to the negative terminal, one wire to ground. Comes with instructions, takes like 30 minutes. It's an easy deal. So it seems like a no-brainer to me. If you're wanting to do something to get ready, then that's a good one. Here's another one. I'm pretty stoked about this. Jase Medical came out with a new pack. And they're calling it the, where is it at here? Field Medic Pack, I believe. Where'd it go? Come on. I know it's around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. The American-made Field Medic Pack. I talked with Forrest at Refuge today, and I'm ordering one, and I'm going to have it here to review for you guys and show you what's in it and all that kind of stuff. I think this is, like, based off of the description on the website and everything like that, like this is probably like the ultimate prepper medic pack that you could probably have and put together. You can use HSA and FSA for these deals, and if you use the discount code Reality Survival, save you 10%. So there's that. And last but not least, before we get going here, is I wanted to make you aware of my Substack, realitysurvival.substack.com. We do monthly giveaways for the paid subscribers over there, and we also have some giveaways for free subscribers going right now for the 100,000 subscriber giveaway deal. Just hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is awesome. I really never expected it to get that high. So I'm just trying to give you guys some things. The two things that are going right now is we've got two giveaways on one of the regular style EMP shields for a vehicle, and then one of the new micros for a vehicle. And so if you're a paid subscriber, you can get in on both of them. And I'm also running a 25% discount right now. So you can get the annual membership for like, I think it's like $40 or somewhere around in that area. So anyway, just wanted to let you know about that stuff. I also send out maybe weekly or bi-weekly posts with all the videos in them that I've done over the past couple weeks or past week, whatever. And that way it comes right to your inbox. And then you can choose, well, you can just delete the email if you don't want to read it. Or you can decide what videos you want to watch, because sometimes YouTube doesn't even show everybody. Like I've had a ton of people tell me that they don't see the notifications and stuff. So if you sign up over there, you can get just a free membership, doesn't cost anything at all. And that'll at least get you all the videos to your inbox, So something to think about there. Okay, let me go to the chat and then we'll get started on this idea of, hey, thanks, Scott, of what we're talking about here. Oh, damn it. I'm such a dork. I was supposed to share my screen earlier, but I forgot. So that's all right. I'll just show you a real quick review. So that's empshield.com's website right there. There's Refuge Medical and the Field Medic Pack or Field Medic Kit. And there's realitysurvival.substack.com. Okay. Technology is not my strong suit. I'm trying to run all this and do it all at the same time. All right. So singularity syndrome is the word or the phrase that I came up with to describe something that I think a lot of people are feeling right now. And that is, this idea of everything's happening all at once. I see a lot of videos. I see a lot of people talking about the idea that, there's so many changes happening right now. There's so many things. There's more and more train derailments. There's more and more school shootings. There's, going to World War III and, starting global catastrophe and, all this kind of stuff. And there's merit to all those claims and potentially in some ways. But I think what is happening is more to do with your perception of events as they happen versus an actual increase in things happening faster. And so let's talk about the singularity here from a technological standpoint. This is Wikipedia's definition, just to kind of get you an idea of what this concept is. It's a hypothetical future point in time at which technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable changes to human civilization. According to the most popular version of the singularity hypothesis, I.J. Good's intelligent explosion model, an upgradable intelligent agent will eventually enter a runaway reaction of self-improvement cycles, each new and more intelligent generation appearing more and more rapidly, causing an explosion in intelligence and resulting in a powerful superintelligence that qualitatively far surpasses all human intelligence. Okay, so I think it's whether or not that ever actually happens, who knows? But the idea that technology is increasing faster and faster and faster and coming to a single point is kind of what I'm talking to. If you think about 30 years ago, most people got their news from maybe two sources. You'd have maybe three: newspapers, magazines, and the evening news, right? That was it. And so there was a very limited bandwidth on what stories and how much could be reported within those stories. And then sometime around, I don't remember when exactly it was. Maybe it was 95, 96, 97, 98, mid 90s at some point. We started getting cable news and the 24-hour news cycle. And if you remember back in the day, TV would turn off at midnight or something, right? And so because they only had enough programming to fill half the day. Well, then we get the 24-hour news cycle on, headline news and CNN and channels like that. And they started running stuff all the time. Well, what happened at first is they had to repeat stories. They'd run some stories during the day, and then they'd run them again late at night and just kind of, always have them out there. Well, now we've included more and more things into the news cycle. We've started reporting on things nationally that always used to be just local news. Shootings is one good example on that one, right? Look, you'd have a local shooting or whatever, and unless it was a big deal, it didn't really get reported nationally. That just didn't happen. Maybe if it was like 20 or 30 people killed or something like that or whatever, some big mass shooting, like Whitman or whatever from the water tower kind of thing, it would be national. But a lot of the shootings and stuff that would happen, if it was under 5-6 people or whatever, it'd be a local story. So anyway, there's also been a big expansion in the number of media outlets, right, during that time frame. So if we look at, this is a list from Statista, and you look at a list of kind of the leading global, news sites, what we might call mainstream media. You've got a pretty significant list here of the big boys. So like New York Times, CNN, MSN, Fox News, New York Post, BBC, Google, Finance, Yahoo, People.com, Washington Post, USA Today, Daily Mail, CNBC, News.Yahoo, The Sun, The Guardian, Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Business Insider, and NBC News. So that's a bunch of stuff, right? And it's not only that those things are on cable TV or news. Now they're all over all your social media, because they all have social media accounts and they're pushing it out all over the place. And so they need more and more content to be able to support their companies and everything like that. Then to add on to that, it gets even worse. So now we look at a list of the best alternative news sites that are out there. Okay. And there's a ton on here. Some of these I haven't even heard of. You know what I mean? Here's some aggregator ones: General News, Red Pill News, Investigative Journalist, Liberty Minded Media. Is that a list of those? Yeah. Oh, that's the different categories. Excuse me. Okay. So Gateway Pundit, Corbett Report, Corey Diggs, Speed the Shift News. Haven't heard of a lot of these. Citizen Press, Information Liberation, Zero Hedge, Sergeant Report, Intellectual Takeout, Off Guardian, Just the News, One American News Network, Intelligent Living, Lou Rockwell. You get the idea. So we come down here. This isn't even all of them, right? Now here's another whole list of a whole bunch more of alternative news sites. If you want to see this list, you can go to visionlaunch.com, and that's where it's at. Okay, so tons of alternative sources also. So now people get their news from TV, cable news. Still, magazines and newspapers are still there, although a lot of people don't look at them. And you got your phone, and you got Twitter and Facebook and True Social and Gab and whatever other social media stuff that you look at that's constantly feeding you news. And so I think our minds have not really fully adjusted yet to processing this much data. We don't have a way to categorize and understand how much information is coming at us from all directions. And so that makes a lot of people feel like everything's happening all at once, right? And then on top of that, I talked to you guys in this video here, will these converging cycles bring more chaos? And I talked to you about the big different cycles that are happening all at once, right? And so we combine all these things together and we get the overwhelming sense of, holy crap, the world is falling apart right now. But the world is not falling apart right now. Listen, we live in the best time in history. There is no other point in history to ever live. Now, there's definitely sketchy stuff going on. Yes, there's possible conflicts on the horizon. I've talked to you guys about that many times. But the probability of a world-ending event like all-out nuclear war, now, a limited exchange is far more likely, but an all-out nuclear war or something like that, or a complete collapse of the world's global economies to the point where nobody takes cash, the government falls apart and the world devolves into chaos, that is extraordinarily unlikely. The systems that we have built over the last 70 years since World War II are really, really resilient. They're way more difficult to tear down than you can imagine. I don't really know exactly how to articulate this, probably the best way, but the United States has all of the major factors that we need to be a coherent nation, more so than basically any other nation on the planet. Like it would be really, really hard for us to mess up bad enough for us to not maintain at least the status quo of where we are, right? It's going to be difficult, really difficult, even for somebody who has dementia and is running the country or whatever the case may be. Like, they don't have enough power to be able to really screw things up that much. People think that they do, but they don't really have as much power as you think they do. There's a whole lot of systems and a whole lot of frameworks and structures that are around that office, in the White House, that keep it from just going crazy. So I would just urge guys to if you think something is really, really increasing in time and speed and all that kind of stuff, do a little bit of research and look up the statistics on it, and look back for the last 20 or 30 years. Look at a wide angle perspective, just like with that video we did the other day talking about the train derailments. Train derailments happen like 1,000 times a year. They happen a lot. So just because it's in the news cycle right now there's going to be a news crew out at every train derailment because it got clicks. It sold prescription or subscriptions and that kind of thing. And I'm not saying that the New Palestine thing wasn't bad and all that. That's a totally other subject, and we've talked about that. But the idea that this stuff is just happening at an increasing rate, and oh my God, the world's going to fall apart. It isn't really a thing. If you look at the stats, it's been fairly level for a long time. Slight increases and slight decreases here and there. Same thing with school shootings and stuff. Everybody feels like, oh my God, there's, all these school shootings happen and everything. But when you look at the history of it, and you look at the actual numbers for it, it's remained fairly constant. It's actually gone down a little bit and at some points. So, since 2015 or whatever. So, I know it seems like everything is happening all at once, and it seems like we're coming to this big point at which we're not going to get past. But that's just not the case. We are going to get past it. It's going to be a bumpy road for a few years. We're going to have some inflation. We might have some foreign conflicts, but it ain't anything that we can't get through. I promise you that. The thing that I fear for a lot of people, and because I read a lot of comments and stuff like that from preppers and different things, and I get the sense that there are a lot of people who are really concerned, and they're taking out, debt, and they're buying things with debt, and they're, getting themselves into a worse financial situation because they think that it's all going to fall apart like right around the corner, like here real quick. It's very unlikely, and it's a really bad move to make panicked decisions because you feel like the world's coming in on you or whatever. If you need to, unplug, unsubscribe from the channels, including mine. If I create stress in your life, then you should unsubscribe from my channel. If when you watch me, you come away from it feeling like, oh my God, I got to do this or I got to do that, that's not the impression that you should get. It's definitely not the impression I'm trying to provide. But if there is other things that you watch that make you feel apprehensive, that get you all, worked up, walk away from it. Same thing with the news. Don't watch the news. Take a couple of week break. Go spend some time outdoors. Take your shoes off and walk barefoot in the grass for a while. Take a nap in a hammock. Go out and go camping and just reconnect with the world. And try to unplug, because you shouldn't. There's a difference between being a responsible citizen and making sure that you can take care of yourself and your family so that you don't have to rely on the government if a disaster happens. And then that's different from being panicked and feeling like you have to do everything right now. And you've got to get it done because, oh my God, if I don't get this done, we're going to be screwed, or, whatever the case may be. I've seen lots of prepper channels talking about the idea that time is out. If you haven't done it by now, you're not going to be able to do it. That's so wrong. It's immoral to say stuff like that, because that's not the case. You've got plenty of time. All right. Save your money. Don't go into debt. Save your money. When you get the money saved up for whatever project or thing that is you want to do or buy or whatever, then go ahead and buy it and then keep saving. You don't just do incremental steps, little by little, to try to get you to where you want to go. Right. And there's not that many things that you really need to do anyway. If you can go to AmericanPreppingAcademy.com, you can look at some of the lessons there, or the lessons are also on realitysurvival.substack.com, and go through and look at some of those APA lessons that I put together, and you'll see that it's not really all that many things that you need to do to be prepared, so just I would encourage folks to try not to feel so anxious, because even though it feels like everything's happening all at once, it's really not. We're just getting more data all at once, and it's overloading our thought processes and our systems, and just the way that we interpret the information, because we're just not used to it. We're just not used to taking in this much information, and so it makes us feel anxious. Anyway, that's just my perspective on it. I'll go ahead and go to the chat now and see what you guys are saying, and then I can answer any questions that you guys may have, or whatever you want. All right. Yeah, Mike says he's unsubscribed from a lot of doomsday preppers lately. They're ridiculous fear soapboxes out there. Yeah, I mean, Keith said pretty much the same thing. I mean, I know what you guys feel, because I feel the same thing when I watch them. Like I watch different channels and different things, and I walk away from it, and I'm just like, man, why are you doing this? And I know that it sells, and I know that I know that it's beneficial, right? Because you get more subscriptions, you get more views, and that's a hard thing to fight against. And I've struggled with it myself, because if you put some big crazy crisis title and thumbnail and all that kind of stuff, your video will get way more views. And I'm talking like a lot more, like 4 or 5, 6, 10 times more. So I understand the reasons that people do it, because that's what gets consumed, and it's just this, this negative feedback loop that kind of happens, and so I understand it. But I think that as a content creator out there, I believe that people have a responsibility to try to be rational and to try to present things in a way that is real and is put into perspective, right? That's at least what I hope I try to do when I talk to you guys. I mean, I feel like it's kind of like almost a predatory kind of instinct or something like that, like this preying on a fear response kind of thing, and I don't think it's cool. But anyhow, all right. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much it, guys. I don't know that I have really anything else to say on this topic. Looks like you guys don't have too many questions or thoughts. I mean, some people are commenting here, but I don't want to stay on here too long and just blather on. This was just kind of on my mind. I was listening to who was it? Oh, Economic Ninja. today. And, you know, I used to like his channel a lot when he first started out. I started watching him when he was like, I don't know, 15,000 subscribers or something, 20,000 subscribers. It was a pretty new channel. And I thought he was really good. And then his channel started to grow, and he's like 300,000 subscribers now. And it's like every day he's like, oh, the world's crashing, you know. Oh, the bricks, this was the bricks video is what I watched today. And I was like, dude, it's not that bad. But anyway, maybe I'll make a video on the bricks thing if you guys are interested in it. But all right. Well, that's pretty much it for me. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to get off here.